Now, vocally, there's a lot going on. Not processing, but there's a lot going on of movement, spaces that I'd created, extensions of things with delay and echoes. And it was all intentional because at this point, I feel like what you were trying to capture was this unveiling of a mysterious being that is going to carry you through a moment.
Yeah.
So I had to do two things. I had to, one, make, even though it's your voice, make the being, the mysterious being, different to your verse, like different to where you are verse-wise, because you're the storyteller, but then the being is like surrounding you anyway. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I had to do that, and I also had to create a different space. Because if you listen to your lead vocal is very much, there's only small moments of delay. There's when you stop, there's a little trail afterwards.
The weaver of the story,
it's very dry.
Caught up in it. Never defeated by the force, I reinforce my spirit. If you believe or that
you get what I'm saying?
Ignore the caution with it. You'll follow a lead.
Listen to how it opens out into the Anansi.
But who call? They call for Anansi. The brave one. They call for Anansi.
But they call for Anansi is Anansi. I don't know whether you interpreted it that way, but this is how, when I was mixing it, this is how my brain did it, which is why I ended up being that they call for Anansi is so wide that it feels like it's inside your head. You know, like a voice in your head kind of thing.
Yeah. I can't lie, this is very Disney. Like, it starts with the character creeping around, hasn't really revealed themselves, circling the
Yeah.
And then that moment of exposure, it's like the world opens up, it becomes massive, they appear in a burst of flames and all this sort of stuff.
But you know the maddest thing though? I've always felt like Disney do that really well, because in reality, it doesn't matter what it is that we're experiencing, there is always kind of the same structure to how it gets experienced. If you meet someone,
it's Scar in Lion King, it's the voodoo man in Princess and the Frog.
Yep.
It's the mystic character.
Yeah. And if you meet, even if you take away the mystique of it, just thinking about the normal structure of when you meet someone, everyone's very reserved. It's kind of like nobody knows what to say. It's kind of the creepy part, not creepy, but like creep around. People are trying to creep around. They don't want to step on toes. They don't want to upset anybody. And then when there's the moment where it clicks, where you're like, we get along on this level. Once you realize what that is, all of a sudden it all opens up. Do you get what I'm saying? The same when you're learning something, you're learning thinking, I don't want to make a mistake here. I don't want to make a mistake there. Or, I've made a mistake here and this isn't going well. And then there's that moment where it clicks. And then you try something, and then that whole world of what it was that you were learning all makes sense and just opens up and it explodes. Like, do you get what I'm saying? So I always try and lean into things like that when it comes to mixing, to kind of make sure that even if someone can't relate to what's being said in the song, even if someone is of a different language, listening to the mix but not necessarily paying it, like, or the song, but not necessarily paying attention to the words because they may not understand English, the vibe is the vibe is there of how that transpires. Do you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So yeah, like I say, there was moments where you've got the call for Anansi, which is Anansi being very wide, and then we've got the kind of like the narrator through the middle telling the story. Do you get me? So if we listen to the narrator,
you'll be forced to live it. But who call? They call for Anansi.
He's got his own stuff going on.
Brave ones.
Moving around a lot.
The travelers. The troublemakers.
But in context of everything that's happening there, it just becomes this overwhelming feeling of something big is happening. You may not be able to, obviously these are technical things from a mix perspective. You may not be able to identify, oh, that vocal has moved a certain percentage to the left or a certain percentage to the right, but you feel the movement. And then you feel that the other vocals are wide and kind of feel like they're in your head, and the backing vocals are in a certain place. Do you get what I'm saying? It's always about the feeling. Obviously we're breaking down from the nerdy side of things, but be all and end all, it's about the feeling. If I bring in those backing vocals and just bring everything in now and just listen, we'll just listen to that section leading into that hook.
Leave all that you told, ignore the caution with it. You'll
Still no drums.
For the cause and you'll be forced to live it. But who call? They call for Anansi, the brave one. They call for Anansi, the traveler. They call for Anansi, the troublemaker. They call for Anansi.
What did you spot?
I need you to speak on those whispers and the effects that you put on them, because we debated this for a while about timings and the style to do it, but it's such
I gotta find them. Hold on. This is what I said. Is you give me headache. Where them there? Over here. So I think it's stack 5. Yeah. Let's have a listen. Is it this? Yeah. So, let's get into it. First things first, I just EQ'd it. So, just basic EQ. I wanted it really airy. I wanted a lot of the body of it taken out because I wanted it to sound like you described it as a whisper, but without it being... I still wanted some weight to it, if that makes sense. Because if you notice, it's not completely taken out. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So that's that. It's just different levels of EQ, just kind of getting what I want from it as the tone of it. Do you get me?
Yeah.
Again, another EQ, just EQ. Do you get me? That's all it is, just EQ. I'm going to bypass in fact, not bypass them. I'm going to make the effects, because that's the important part, the actual effects. I'm going to make them inactive, but I'm going to take out the EQs. So this is where we're at. That's what you sent to me.
Yeah.
Very obviously, I wanted them very wide and very much like without the EQing and without the processing and without the effects, they are too forward, but I wanted them in the back of your head, the back of your mind. Do you get me? So then I just EQ to get the tone right. Then the headache came because I knew that I wanted it to do some like stuttery, fluttery type thing. Do you get me? And I just wasn't. I tried so many different ways and ended up here. Do you get me? What I've done is I'm using Shaperbox 3, which I'm using it to kind of just follow a sine wave curve on volume automation. So just up and down in volume, yeah? It's blended a bit, like the mix isn't 100%. And then it's doing a similar thing on the width. So it goes in and out. Do you get what I'm saying? That's one of them. And then the second one, I believe, is doing the same thing, but I think it might be for a different section of the song, but we'll tap into that in a second. So with those in, you get that flutter. This is where we ended up after your intervention, let's say, because I can't do it now, but I had it moving a lot faster.
Yeah, it was on a quicker timing.
It was on a quicker timing, and you were like, okay, which I agreed with once you explained it to me, because obviously that was just, I needed to get that out of my system and get it in there so I could show you to then get your guidance to say, how far should I take this? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I remember I had it on a much quicker timing, and I feel like you said it didn't gel with the movement of the section.
I can't remember what it was.
I think that's what it was, because what I was trying to do, the reason why I remember it being something along that vein is because what I was trying to do was make it so it stood out.
Yeah.
So it was an annoyance in that section.
Yeah, I wanted it to blend in a bit.
You wanted it to blend a bit more. So that's why I feel like the faster timing, it was more of an annoyance, which was my intention, but that didn't sit well with you. So we ended up settling here, which I'm glad that we did because it works. Do you get me?
Yeah.
And I think, one second, because
I think I like the fact that it's just a cool thing. Once you notice it, it's like, whoa, that's cool.
Yeah. To be fair,
there.
It's a lot more noticeable in solo, the actual movement of it. Out of when it's not in solo, you hear it and you hear that something's happening, but you can't kind of identify exactly what's happening.
Yeah, it's a discoverable treat.
Yeah. So let's listen to that in context. And I'm going to put the drums in because the drums actually help with the movement of this.
Yeah, interestingly, without the drums, it feels like a slow vibe, and then the drums show.
That's why I said it helps with the movement of it. Do you get me?
But who called? They call for Anansi, the brave one. They call for Anansi, the traveler. They call for Anansi, the troublemaker. They call for Anansi. This vibe coming.
And one thing, go on. What was you gonna say?
What I like about it as well is with how all these instruments move differently, you can choose which one you want to move to.
One you want to follow, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
And I think I remember intentionally bringing in the dub-esque vibe once I discovered that the end, because obviously when I first put the faders up, I just listened through the whole thing. I just remember you saying you've made changes. So then I hear this dub section at the end. So because I heard the dub section at the end, I'm like, okay, I need to introduce some dub-esque elements early on.
Okay.
So you kind of have this subconscious thing of there's dub vibe happening, which is where the dub delay is happening on the vocals. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you kind of already hunker down and settle into that feeling subconsciously. But then when the dub section actually happens, it's refreshing and it's like, yep, this is, my brain was calling for it. I just didn't know it was coming. And now you actually experience it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes. Recently, this song has been reviewed and someone was just like, I need that section. And then it comes and it's like, yes.
Yep. And once I realized that that's where you were going with it, because obviously, like I say, the first demo you sent me didn't have that section. So once I realized that's where you were going, I'm like, okay, cool. Because I know this is at the end of the song, and I also know that psychologically, if someone looks at a song and it's 4.5 minutes long, they're less inclined to want to listen all the way to the end. So I was tasked with how do I make sure that people do listen from the start to the end and want to go back to the start and do the same thing again. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. And it was little things like this, introducing feelings that come later on.
Yeah.
Because obviously the dub thing happens at the end of the song, but I need to introduce that early on so you kind of anticipate that and want more of that. So it pulls you to the end. The little bits of movement and the storytelling are to pull you to the end of the song and just make sure that, you know, them Spotify numbers get run up. Like, it's just my kind of helping hand in that area, not solely thinking about what needs to happen sonically. Do you get me?
Yeah.
Thinking about that replayability. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to tap into one of my favorite things about you just how you do your backing vocals, like what a lot of people often call stabs and things and harmonic layers and things like that. You have a weird ear. Again, weird is going to get thrown around a lot because I do weird things, you do weird things. I think that's why we end up working together so well. It's just there's a lot of weirdness that gets explored. Do you get me?
Yeah.
And when I listen to, it happens across every song, but I always know that there's going to be a harmonic layer that isn't the norm. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I always think, okay, I wonder how he's used it on this song in particular. Do you get what I'm saying? Because you always use it. You always use those they're like fifths and stuff and ninths and things of that nature. Do you get what I mean? For the technical heads. For me, who isn't technical in a, like I don't read music, and do you get what I'm saying? I'm not technical in that sense. I can hear these things, but I don't know the names of them and whatever else. I just call it the weird and wonderful. Do you get me? When I hear that moment that pulls me a certain way, it's just the weird and wonderful. Do you get me? You often do that with your harmonic layers. So I kind of just wanted to tap into your harmonic layers. So I'm going to solo up this section, and I'm going to play the verse lead. I'm going to play a cappella, so it's just the verse lead and these harmonic layers. Let me do it this way, actually. Yeah. Let's go.
The virus to the many eyes, I'm affecting a mindset. What's on the inside, so much to digest. I don't see anybody wanna dissect, but I digress. To know me from overseas, it's spoken in many dialects. Incy, wincy, the better too risky. The thinky could never do mischief. It's gonna go down in history. Myth gonna be known as a mystery. Disbelief leading to disagreement. This decree doesn't convince me. Better watch what you preach with your freedom of speech, cause it's not a gift that we mistreat. But there's still some that will control out and delete it. Rinse and repeat until the people all repeat it. I was living in a limit and we don't know that we never feel complete.
You're a weirdo. Why do you choose these harmonies? What pushes you in these directions? What makes you want to harmonize with your bars in the first place?
So the intention behind harmonizing with the bars, at the most part, it is to reinforce what I think is the most quotable moments of the lyric. I always say to people, I utilize it as a way I want people to sing along to these parts.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That type of thing. And so I always pick out what feels nice to say or feels important to say. So it feels nice is just like it rolls off the tongue in a nice way. Or something that feels important, like they need to almost, what's the word? It's not manifest. What's the other word? Affirmation.
Affirmation, yeah.
Like an affirmation. And so I place it based on different weights of value, basically. Yeah. I'll add value to it through these harmonies. The choice of notation usually comes from where I feel like I can hear space.
Okay.
Like there's a space to fill there, there's a space to fill here. Usually there's a lot of high end that I cover as well, whereas in this particular song I haven't.
There isn't that much of your higher and falsetto and just pushed up a register in this harmonically. But
I think the reason might be because of the fact that in the lead vocal I was going up and down. Yes. So I thought I want to leave that space to sit
for that
on its own and notice way, whereas everything else is just it's adding a lower power. It's really empowering what's being said, and so it's low rumble. And I think when just doing, like, I've explored backings from just saying exactly what's being said and matching and doubling and stuff like that. I feel like giving it more harmonic layer it adds the weight. It does. It really reinforces and makes it all stronger in so many ways. The more you do it, the more potential you can find and meaning you can attach to it. And so,
it's weird because again, when we're speaking about this weird and wonderful, me and you, we both went through this phase a while ago. But do you remember when I was saying to you, this is on a completely different song in a completely different time and space, but I was saying to you that your backing vocals, the way you do things harmonically, always reminds me of those 1930s or 40s cartoons, the Ghost, the black and white ones.
This is what I was going to mention.
It literally always reminds me of that. I don't know why.
So I don't know if this particular song that we did was the reason why I started leaning into it more, but when we did the 1940s Beaties song, it allowed me to explore it probably more than I was before.
Okay.
And I was listening to a lot of what they were doing in those songs and realizing that they slide in their notes.
Yeah.
Type of things. I was like, I like what that's doing. I like what this is doing. I like the layers. I like how they're approaching all of these different things. And that, I think that just stuck to me. The things that I like always become attached to me.
Yeah.
That has become a thing. Although I don't hear that much presence of it in this particular song, I feel like I'm always I'm going to the 1940s when I start harmony.
Yeah.
From there,
I think because this is a little bit different because it also it showcases what you're known for, of being that it's in the title, the wandering artist that will float over all these different genres. This song in particular is more of a reggae, dub, jazz-esque, like sonic blend. Do you get what I'm saying? It's the best way to put it. So because of that, there are things like, because what we're talking about with how you hear vocal harmony from like 1940s, and then that's more again like the jazz influence, But I feel like vocally you didn't lean into that too much here. You leaned into the jazz with the instrumentation in this song. And then you leaned into the reggae and dub energy more in this song, and the actual history behind and the cultural aspect behind Anansi itself. And then obviously because you are from the generation of grime, like you mentioned earlier, there is that grime feeling to certain drum patterns and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I just feel like even though you say in this you don't hear that too much of that jazz vocal vibe, it's tastefully done. It's not going to be that every single song that you ever do is going to have jazz vocals and jazz this and grime that and da-da-da. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's tastefully done. You select well. Again, like I say, this song is very well arranged. You select well when you're going to say, okay, cool, I'm going to be in this realm, and I'm going to showcase all of the things that I feel about this realm, or whether you're going to be like, okay, I'm just going to pinch a little bit of that this time.
Yeah.
Because there's other songs. Like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's I find that is the fun thing about when I am sitting down to mix your music, because although I know that you are sonically fluid, let's call it that, do you get me? Like genre fluid, like you're never going to be in one position, one genre, one state. I feel like even when you are like shape-shifting through all of these different genres and times and spaces, you still have the ability to put a song together that feels like it can go from the start to the end without being like, what the hell's going on? How many times have you heard a song that it changes so much and there's so much going on? You're like, what's actually going on? Do you know what I mean? So I always find like working with you, it is always a blessing because I get to explore. I've mentioned it before because, well, me and you have had the conversation. I don't think I've ever mentioned it openly, but you know, my synesthesia. So with that, like, for a lot of people that don't know, synesthesia is a neurological, I wouldn't call it disorder, I'd call it like condition or experience that basically one of your sensories are triggered and automatically another one is triggered at the same time. So there's people who, when they see numbers, they have a certain taste, or they'll see numbers and see a certain color or a certain shape, and they can't change that. It's not something that they choose. It's just how their sensories receive it.
It's in the name, and it's like synesthesia is to do with senses and synchronized.
Yeah. And for me, I literally see sound. Sometimes it's jarring because I'll be walking down the road, I'll hear something rhythmical, whether it be water dripping or whatever else, and I see sound. Do you get what I'm saying? Whether it be in waveforms, whether it be colors. A lot of it for me is texture, shape, and color. To do with sound. So a lot of people have color coding, especially working in Pro Tools. Like a lot of people color code and they just stick to that color code because it's easier for them to navigate around the session. For me, it's not about navigating the session. It's about not being annoyed when I'm being honest.
It's the wrong color, right?
Yeah, not being annoyed when I'm seeing a lead vocal and the lead vocal is obviously Pro Tools. Automatically, when you pull audio files in, they're all blue.
Oh, okay.
It's just one color, they're all blue. If I pull up a session and everything is blue, I'm literally lost. My brain, not because I don't know what's there. I could have created the audio files myself and named them and labeled them myself, but I'm lost because I'm looking and I don't get the connection that I get when I see the colors that that are attached to certain things. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when I'm mixing, it helps me massively because, again, my vocals are always pink, my backing vocals are always 2 different shades of purple, ad-libs are always burgundy, like bass is always brown, drums are always red and shades of red, instrumentation is always green, shades of yellow, shades of green. Like, that's how it comes to me. Do you get what I'm saying? Naturally. Yeah. And it actually helps me mix. It helps me mix and it helps me bring together, again, when you're talking about the environments, it helps me bring the environments together. Like, when we think about something like the Earth is brown. It can be green, it can be these different colors, but Earth is predominantly brown. Dirt is brown. So the base has to be brown because that is the anchor, the Earth, the bottom, the literally the bottom. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When we think about trees and things that are above our head or around us or whatever, it's like greens and blues. That's trees and the sky. That is literally what is surrounding us. Do you get what I'm saying? So instruments have to be shades of green because I have to see it in that way. Do you get what I'm saying? Drums are alarming, they're striking. If someone hits a snare and you're not expecting it, your body jolts.
Red.
Yeah. Like, it's just the way that my brain works. So when you give me instruments and when I'm mixing your songs, it comes to me in that way, but it also helps me bring your vision. Because if you say to me that because you know how my brain works, you'll describe a scene to me.
Yeah.
And because you've described the scene, like you were saying about the swamp, I can now mix with that in mind, have that, and it's weird, the textures that come to me are more aligned with the actual vision because you've given me an image. Do you get what I'm saying? And then ironically, when we then look at the artwork that you've created, it is literally aligned with that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm also a big fan of synesthesia. I wrote and studied and wrote an essay on it. And
when we were at uni, or when you were at...
When we were at uni.
Was it when at Walsall, or when you were at Derby?
Walsall?
Wolverhampton Uni, and it like Walsall. Yeah.
I was designing I designed the colour, a version of a colour organ.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Through Max MSP. And,
yeah.
My idea for that was to interview different people with synesthesia and map out the colours that they see onto the key.
Yeah.
Then when he says, what are you going to do about texture? I was like, don't know.
Because I see texture.
Yeah. I know somebody else who sees texture as well, like furry, metallic.
Yep.
But yeah, in the furthering of my study of it, the closest I got, because I wanted to be able to teach myself how to have synesthesia.
Don't work like that.
Yeah, I know. But the closest I did manage to get was what you're talking about, where I describe scenes to you. So when I'm writing the lyrics, when I'm making beats and all that sort of stuff, I'm visualizing the scene, and these sounds are the closer I get with the sounds, the more I am feeling that scene.
The scene, yeah.
And so I write and create scenically, and that's my attempt of synesthesia.
But the maddest thing is, it works because from a translation perspective, if you never told me, like obviously we have conversations about overall concepts of the song, but if you never told me a concept, but you either showed me an image or explained a scene, because I have synesthesia and that's how my brain works, I would still be able to deduce from it. Do you get what I'm saying? So it still works.
How we describe the music. Because if I was to talk to someone else about it, or there are people that talk with synesthesia to engineers and they're like, make it more blue. And I can imagine engineers that don't understand that. That's just
ain't got a clue. If someone says to me, like, do you know the weird thing that I get? I'm the opposite. So if people say to me, like, it needs to be more hard hitting, for example.
Yeah.
That confuses me because there's so much, like, what is it that you want to be hard hitting? Because drums can be hard hitting. And why? Yeah. Because I need to be able to understand why to get to the end. Drums can be hard hitting. Bass can be hard hitting. Vocals can be hard hitting. Specific instruments in certain moments can be hard hitting. The overall song, obviously, I do a lot of my own mastering. So the overall song, I can master it. So generally it's hard hitting, but is that what you want, or do you want a specific aspect to be hard hitting? What do you want to be hard hitting? Whereas you never say things like that to me. You'll say you want the drums to be dirtier, or you want the drums to feel deeper, or you want the vocals to feel more around your head. And do you get what I'm saying? It's a lot of the time it's in the descriptions.
We was really trying to figure out the reverb on just one ad that I did.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of describing where in the swamp
it has to be. Yeah.
Located, how far away they are in this swamp, what distance you're looking at them, and all that sort of stuff. And then we got to it through describing it in that way.
Well, I think I do see it as a blessing that you understand how my brain works in that way, because, for example, you knew how to explain it to me rather than saying the ad-lib doesn't feel right, it feels too close, or it feels too far away. Because because of the way my brain works, I'm like, well, something can be close but sound far. Something can be far and be so clear that it sounds like it's right next to your ear. So I need more than just being like close and far. Like, I need to know within this space, is it within the same space? Is it that you want the voice being spoken within the swamp? Is it within the hut in the swamp? Is it under the water in the swamp? Is it from the sky in the swamp? Is it in the swamp, or is it in your mind? Like, do you get what I need those kind of like prompts to be able to know exactly where this sound needs to be. And then you'll say things like, literally you'll be like, it needs to feel colder, or it needs to feel a lot. Do you get what I'm saying? So that gives, these are all sensory things in it. So that allows me to kind of understand, okay, I get exactly what you mean. Let me do this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's a blessing working with you, man. Like, a lot of the time, engineers cherish the artists that they get to work with consistently. And it's not because the artists that come and go, there's no attachment there, because I'm attached to all of my clients. Like, because it's always music first. Like, I love music, even away from it being my job, even away from there being finance attached to it. There's so many people that I work with for free, not because I don't have a big enough portfolio or haven't done enough to be able to get paid work, because I can get paid work through my ears. But a lot of the time, that thing of finance does cut off certain limbs. There's a lot of people out there. If I have no relationship with you, I'm just going to say this outright, because people are going to hear this and be like, I should holler him and did it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but what I'll say is this: if I have no relationship with you, don't holler me trying to get no free work. It don't work like that. Do you get what I'm saying? Same with any other scenario. You can't walk into a shop and, because you really want something, expect them to give you something for free. Nothing to go, so. Do you get me? But what I can say is, once I've built relationships with people, I very much put music first. There've been many moments where people that I've worked with, they're like, I really have a project that I need to get out. Yeah. I just don't have the funds to do this right now. I'm like, let's do it right now, because you're in the moment now. You need it out now. Let's get it done now. It's not about the money. The money can come afterwards. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like
you are helping me as well, because I haven't been financially able to do this. And I'm a stubborn person when it comes to working with you, where I try not to give you anything until I can pay you for it.
Yeah, but I'll always get on you and be like, because what I would prefer is for you to release the music rather than be concerned about paying me in that moment. Yeah. Like, we have a long enough, like, we've been working together for 20 plus years. So we have a long enough standing relationship to know it's not that you're going to disappear and you owe me money. Do you get what I'm saying? It's never that. So because of, and this is, I feel these are the important things that people need to understand about an engineer. Isn't just somebody who mixes a song. An engineer is somebody that you can trust. An engineer is somebody that you can confide in. An engineer is somebody that, a good engineer is somebody that you can trust to take your vision and elevate it, or take your vision and help you explore it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that in turn develops a better working relationship. So when moments happen, like you're saying financially, like, who cares? Let's get the music sorted.
And then the return comes after.
The return comes after.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But a lot of people don't value their engineer or don't even have an engineer. They're literally happy to float from engineer to engineer because they don't have a sonic. And I don't say this harshly, I say it because of where we're at with music. Music is so fast paced that if a hit comes out and it sounds like Drake, people want to sound like Drake. If a hit comes out and it sounds like Rihanna, people want to sound like Rihanna. If a hit comes out and it sounds like Adele, people want to sound like Adele. And that's not their fault. A lot of the time it's because labels will be like, okay, this was a hit. We want to recreate that. You have a little glimmer of an Adele, whether it be you've got the same color hair or you're from the same place or whatever it is. So we want to make you the next Adele rather than making you the better version of you.
Yeah.
Why would you try and take one individual and make them the next somebody else?
Yeah.
You just need to make them the better version of them.
I keep hearing that artist development is lost in labels now. It doesn't exist anymore within labels.
It's a catch-22 because I feel like I've seen some good artist development happen in certain instances.
Right.
But generally, I would say that it's becoming lost. I wouldn't say it's lost. I'd say it's becoming lost because of the thing of chasing, obviously, TikTok, Spotify, the fast-paced things happened in it.
Yeah.
So people have now, instead of it being, let me plant my seeds and water it slowly and blah, blah, everyone's trying to go hydroponic, where everything's just...
That's a good way to describe it.
Nobody's trying to think, okay, cool, I'm going to plant this and wait for it to rain. The rainy season's coming. What people are doing is, I'm putting this in this hydroponic. I can water it whenever I want. It's always being fed by water. There's no dirt around it, so there's no actual foundation. The roots are loose. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And people, I feel like that's where we are at now, which is a bit unfortunate, but I think people like yourself are kind of reforming the foundations of things. So making it so that there is a foundation again. The hydroponic plant is the best analogy because a hydroponic plant does grow. It potentially grows a lot bigger in certain instances, a lot faster. It has a better root system, but those roots aren't anchored in anything. You can literally take it out and the roots are dangling and the roots are exposed. So the roots can be damaged very quickly. Do you get what I'm saying? And I feel like artists like yourself are kind of bringing it back to where roots are planted deep rather than just being able to access the root and cut off piece of the root and carbon copy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
We're trying anyway.
I feel like although you're trying that's the only thing that you can do, but at the same time, trying, as long as you're trying, you're gaining movement, knowledge, understanding towards whether it be you don't feel like the big click moment has happened or whether you feel like, okay, I have a true understanding this is going to be a long and slow process, but I'm going to stay active.
Yeah.
That's why I always say to you, when you message me and you're like, even if you said a lot of positive things to me, I always just say, stay active, bro.
You do.
Because it's very easy to kind of have a million good things happen and you get complacent within that and you kind of get stuck in that. Not stuck, you get pulled into shit's going great, I'm happy, comfortable.
Yeah, I've been there.
Do you know what I mean?
Been there.
Do you know what I'm saying? I think everybody has, let's be honest. I think we all have been in that moment where it's like, because it feels like the hard work that you've been doing is paying off. So now you just want to bask in your glory kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to snap out of it and stay active.
Yeah, it's true. All right, let's bring it back in.
Yeah, man.
Where was we?
We were talking about backing vocals. I played through the backing vocals. We kind of spoke about instrumentation. I'm actually gonna jump to the end.
And I just wanted to show.
Yeah.
I don't know if you was going back to this, but the brass section, with this particular song, I came up with the brass section vocally and then sent it over to...
Where did you send it?
So I sent it to both Jake Burgess, aka Mark Cake Music, and James Dickinson. Cool. So James plays... Big demo. It's, man, big them up every time. They get the vision and they turn it into something. Jake plays sax and woodwinds. Well, sax is a woodwind, isn't it? And flutes. And
no, sax ain't woodwind, is it? Ain't sax brass?
It's a reed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so where was I? Yeah, Jake plays woodwind.
Okay, cool.
And James plays trumpets, brass, flugelhorn. I'm not sure if he played trumpet or flugelhorn for this particular one. I'm going to assume it to be trumpet.
You know what's mad? I just named all sections as trumpet. It could have been different. It might not have been flugel, but I think I just called it trumpets.
To me, it sounds trumpety.
I think as well, I voiced it, but when I mixed it, I think I voiced them ignorantly as trumpets. I say ignorantly now because if it was flugelhorn, I didn't know that in the moment. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. But yeah, if you go to your WhatsApp, I forwarded it to you. I can't find the original of just me vocalizing it, but there's what I vocalized with what James has played over it as well. So what I found amazing about what they did with what I sent was they found extra harmonies within it as well.
Okay.
And those harmonies isolated to me was like, this sounds sick. How on earth are we going to get it to work into the tune?
I'm with you.
There's a lot of, I guess, leveling, placing, getting everything that had to be done to make that still sit as nice as it could, because they gave me something that was absolutely mind-breaking, but it needed to be there.
Okay.
I literally just sent them me saying ba 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 ba,
and then they just interpreted it how.
Yeah, they expanded it to a high level.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can just play the solos of.
Yeah, of course I can. The trumpet section or the sax sections or
like,
all of it.
One and then the other.
So if we go, hold on. I think
I just said da ba 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 ba. Yeah, and I think there was the ba 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 ba. That's all I sent.
Yes,
with it.
Yes.
They threw in some notes that were, I don't know what to call them because I don't know theory, but like some crazy stuff.
So here's the sax. No, trumpets. Yeah, it's weird because it's on its own in isolation. They're like off notes, but they're not off notes when you hear it in context.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to put the sax in now as well. It's crazy. Hold on, because there's more. There's more.
It sound so old. I love it.
Say that again.
You made it sound so old.
That was again that knockback of nostalgia, but with the jazz aspect now. That's where I took that. I'm like, okay, this needs to sound like old school, like jazz, a jazz moment in a dark, dingy jazz club somewhere that's got bare smoke and signs outside in the middle of a swamp. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, that's what I wanted from this brass. So when the brass happened, you're like, you've been taken out of that reggae space and you've been thrown into this jazz space. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
You got a few trills and stuff here as well. Yeah.
Oh man, the notation is crazy.
And then the flutes, we went back and forth over the flutes in it because I wanted them louder.
Yeah.
And then you were like, no, tuck them in because of how they're supposed to be phrased for the next section in it.
Yeah, I wanted the swell as well.
Yeah.
I just wanted to feel the swell of it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Like, this is what I was talking about as well with, even though you're saying that all you did was send them your and they basically interpreted it their way and gave you back something that you didn't expect. pat yourself on the back at the same time, because they also know your mind and know how you are, so know that you never want to play it safe. So that gives people, it does give people the confidence to be like, okay, I'm going to try this.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, the worst that it can say is, let's change it or let's dial it back or whatever. Do you get me? But it's never going to be a ridicule moment. They're never going to be kicked out of a room. People who work with you often get the freedom to be as creative as possible and explore their own creative abilities.
And it's just, let's figure out how to make that work in the song. Yo. What?
Literally, like, for me, as a mix engineer, I say it all the time, I often put a different hat on when I'm working with you, because I'm not, obviously there's the natural state of, I know that with certain artists, they have a more clinical sound, yeah? So they don't want dirt, they don't want certain things that I enjoy doing in a mix. Not saying I don't enjoy mixing in a clinical way, but they have a cleaner cut sound, so they want to do that. Do you get me?
Yeah.
And when it comes to the clinical sound, or cleaner sound, I should say, I have to put a different hat on, because I have to stop myself from doing
experimenting
certain things. Do you get what I mean? And like, for example, when I work with you, my natural hat is on of experimentation. When I work with Emil, same hat. When I work with your brother, same hat. When I was working with C4, that was because he's very precise with his vocal arrangements and blah blah. A different hat. He's very particular and very clear cut in exactly. There's not really an experimentation that happens. He knows what he wants right from the beginning. Do you get what I'm saying? So I wouldn't experiment in the same way. Do you get me? He kind of got used to me and kind of got to a point where he's like, bro, just do you. Do you get what I'm saying? But initially I have to gain the trust. Do you know what I mean?
I've sat in a C4 session before, and the level of meticulousness that goes into what he's doing. It's anyway against what he wants. You've messed up bad.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, now I'm, again, like I said, I've earned his trust in that sense. So he just lets me, if I'm like, oh, what about this? Again, similar to you, he'll be like, I don't like it. Or, yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
It's never a thing where I've crushed or diminished his trust for me.
Yeah.
And now he's kind of apprehensive about coming back.
Yeah, some people will react badly towards experimentation. It's like, well, this engineer can't do what I need, and it's not. I've
had those experiences, but I feel like I'm lucky enough to say that most of the people that I have consistent working relationships with, Shay Universe, DC, even Unknown T of recent, like, they allow Emil, your brother, they allow me to just do me. Do you know what I mean? I've earned their trust enough and provided you lot enough with a solid enough outcome to be like, okay, maybe I can just send in files and just see what comes back.
Yeah, that's literally how it goes. Now I feel like the process for me and you is send your files in the correct way. That's an important one.
Yeah.
I double check that it's done correctly as well, because there's some things can be sent with some effects on it, some are just dry, both, all these things, trying to number them in the right way, but the software differences don't allow it to then go in that order. But then I think while in the past there was a bit of communication beforehand, it's now become a thing of, okay, I'm going to do what I do with this, I'm going to show you it at a certain point, and we're going to discuss what we like and what we want to hear differently, and that sort of stuff, and then I let you go away with it again, more things happen, and then towards the end, it's just fine-tuning all of those things.
Which I think, one, I'm grateful that is allowed to happen. It's not just you. There is you, but there's, like I say, there's you, your brother, Emil, Shay. Like, there's so many different people now. I've built to a point now where I'm happy to say that I have the trust of people, quite a few people now musically, to be able to do so. But I say all of that to say, like, it allows me to get better. And that's the thing. Like, obviously, I want to always maintain being as good as I possibly can be to maintain the quality of music that you lot all expect me to deliver.
Yeah.
If you've given me something great, I can't give you back something that is mediocre.
Yeah. And I think what you're describing as well is the difference between being the best and being better. Like, you can reach a point where you're the best and you can give that same thing consistently all the time because you are experimenting and exploring. You're always evolving. So better gets better than better every time.
Yeah, every time. Yeah.
But once you hit best, that's the wall. You stop there.
Yeah. But I think as well, that's kind of a catch-22 as well, you know, because when you think about it, you see, like, obviously well before our time, like the earlier days of like engineering, you would go, or studios in general, you would go to a specific studio because they had a specific sound. You would choose a specific engineer because he has a specific sound, a signature, if you will. Yeah. That got lost in this thing of like, a mix engineer is just supposed to mix my song to sound as clean and clinical as it needs to be to stand up next to the next song that's as clean and clinical. I hate that. Do you know what I mean? Which I often say to people, and I have said to people, like, I'm not saying I've got the greatest sound in the world. I'm not saying that at all, but I work a certain way. I like the way that I work. It's forever growing, forever evolving. What I do now isn't the same as what I did 6 months ago. What I did 6 months ago isn't the same as what I did 6 months before that. Do you get me? But I do have a sonic that I'm always chasing. Yeah. And I'm always trying to implement in some way, shape or form, not just from a technical perspective, but as a fan of music as well. Do you get me? Yeah. How I hear music and how I perceive music to be more connective. Now, some people would say, oh, but it's not about you. And I understand it's not about me. But if you are paying me to do something for you, I need to be able to do it the best way that I know how. Yeah. And if that's why there's been many instances where how I work doesn't necessarily suit certain people that I've worked with, and we've gone separate ways because it's it is, instead of trying to squeeze blood from a rock, let's just go our separate ways. It's no love lost. Like, I'm never going to say anything bad about you, and I would hope you'd never say anything bad about me. It's just in this moment with what it is that we're trying to work on,
they need.
It's not gelling. The maddest thing, the irony is, in a lot of those instances, that same individual, they've circled back to me just on a different song. It was just, and then it's worked. It was like that song in particular just wasn't the way that I work and the way that how I interpret music. It didn't work with that specific song. Do you get me?
Yeah, I think that's a good way that music should be approached. I don't know if many people allow for the time and space to explore like that anymore. It is just
everything's fast paced, isn't it?
Yeah.
And also, because of the way that we consume music, everything is instant gratification. So there's no longer. I remember back in the day, it would be like there was no internet like that. So you would hear through the grapevine of magazines or radio that such and such an artist is dropping a new album. This is 3 years after their last album. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Now what you do is now you're constantly listening to the radio to wait for release dates or information. Then for us, remember Ruby Reds?
Yeah.
So for us, we'd go into Ruby Reds.
You go in there, you
do you know what I mean? And see if it's there. And then when you've got it, if you've got enough money, if you spent £14 on an album, a vinyl album, a tape, a CD, whatever format we were at that time, do you get what I'm saying? Because I've gone through all of them. I've been vinyl, I've been tape, I've been CD, do you know what I mean? Yeah. But whatever format that album was on, if I've spent my money to buy that album, I'm going to cherish that album. So I'm going to play it. I'm going to look after my vinyl. I'm going to look after the tape. I'm going to look after my CD, make sure it don't scratch. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's going to have more value to me. The music itself has more value to me because I've actually taken currency out of my pocket to pay for it. Now, because people can be like, hey, I don't like this song. Let me just delete it from my playlist. A new album comes out. They'll literally, remember, when you listen to something on tape, you can't flick through it. You have to listen.
Listen through or fast forward it slowly.
You have to listen.
You have to take the time out that it takes to get through the song to get to the next one.
Do you understand what I mean? Whereas now, you just flick through. So because of the instant gratification and the fast pace of things, I think, again, I'm circling back to what you and a lot of other people are currently doing of bringing that, like, grounding the music again, bringing that thing of take a moment, stop, listen to the music.
Yeah.
You're putting enough in for people to actually get something from it rather than it just being instant gratification and then it's over. Like you're literally putting blood, sweat, tears, heart, soul, proper real thought into the music for them to remember the days where you would like certain songs remind you of periods of life, moments in life. That kind of disappeared because moments in life became a certain playlist, an amalgamation of songs, whereas there was points where it was a singular song, reminded you of a singular year, a summer, a certain day in summer in a certain year. Do you get what I'm saying? You're bringing it, you and a lot of other artists are bringing it back to that. Do you get me? And I think that is a good place to be. Like the fact that you, again, like we're saying, you're able to, it all stems from you being able to put your vision across to the musicians that you're working with, put your vision across to the engineer that you're working with. And then as a collective, that vision gets showcased to the world and people feel it.
Yeah.
Rather than it just being that moment of, yeah, this is a good, cool song, flick past next one. They're moments that you have to stop. Do you get me?
Yeah, it's true.
So, yeah. But to be fair, I think we've been chatting for time. I told you it wouldn't go to plan. I told you what I wrote as a guide that I looked at it twice about 2 hours ago.
Is there anything else that you wanted to make sure that you do cover?
I feel like we've covered a lot about what I put into the song from a mixing perspective, because again, the mixing side of things, it's not just about what plugin I used, what EQ I did. Oh, I used this EQ, so what EQ move did I make? Like, I enjoyed this conversation because when I am speaking about mixing, I think I opened a few plugins here and there, but I'm speaking about my thought process behind the mixing more than the tool and how I used it and why I used it this way. It was more about the vibes that I was trying to catch, the energies that I was trying to bring forward, the visions that I was trying to meet with, and just how my brain works in that way. So I'm quite happy with what we spoke about and how we spoke about it.
Before we got sidetracked, you mentioned that you was going to go towards the end section. I'm wondering if you're thinking about, there was a part where we wanted to get into the last chorus from the pre-chorus moment, and we did a lot of cutting out of sounds, and then we wanted it to sound bigger than how it previously sounded, and we kept on do you know what I'm on about?
I do indeed. That wasn't what I was going to go to, but that's a good shout, because that is literally right here. It was mainly, it's funny, you know, because it was mainly drums. And when you look, you know, like after all of that we did, you can see my screen in it.
Yeah.
Can you see the bits that I grayed out?
Those are all the muted bits in it.
You're saying all the muted bits. There wasn't even that much to mute to begin with, but we were so like in the moment
with it, like
it needed to happen. Like we went through like so much to end up with these little tiny bits of muted things, but it made a big difference.
It made a massive difference.
It made a big difference. And I think there might be something muted.
No, at the very bottom.
No, that was just a reverb. The overall remember you sent me a reverb of everything.
Yeah.
So obviously the reverb can't play in that moment, but there's no other instruments there. Like that literally, that little bit of cutting and muting of those little instruments, drum instruments, that helped that section turn around properly.
Yeah.
I'm going to play it just so we can context in it. Context. 1 sec. So if I play from here.
With it, you'll follow a leader for the cause and you'll be forced to live it. But who called? They call for Anansi.
So that little pause took us about 45 minutes, do you remember? About 45 minutes to get it right. But then once we got it, it was like, yeah, that moment of silence was exactly what was needed.
Yeah.
And that moment of silence is what was needed.
This chorus that it goes into is like an extra expanded chorus. The harmony.
It was a big shouty, yeah. Because technically this was where the song, from what you sent to me originally, this is where the song ended. So this was the last hook that was just the really big, chaotic, massive hook before the dub section, because there was no dub section.
And I also, I don't know how this played its part, but I think I asked you to loop the chorus here because I performed it one day and I did the chorus doubled, and I realized there's so much more energy again for having it.
Yeah. But I think you did it in the production. I just looped the vocal because I think you realized that loop the production in that section, and then by the time, because I already had the files, you were like, just loop the vocal.
That something got looped.
Because I can see here that basically there is no cuts, so I haven't like cut and looped. Do you get what I'm saying? So it was already done, kind of thing, when you sent me the files. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Oh. Okay.
But I'm gonna run through this last chorus into the glorious end dub old school section that I think is literally, after having a song with so much energy, so much movement, it's just the icing on the cake of literally you found such a nostalgic way to finish a song. Those who recognize it as nostalgia, it pulls them in. Those who have recently discovered dub, it pulls them in. Those who don't even know what dub is, and this is just a completely, like, you know, like a new sound to them. Like you just put something, and it's so tastefully done that it's just like, from all angles, it can be enjoyed. So I'm gonna play through.
For the cause and you'll be forced to live it. But who calls? They call for Anansi, the brave one. They call for
This is that big hook we were talking about, innit?
They call for Anansi, the troublemaker. They call for Anansi. I said who calls? They call for Anansi. Is it the brave one? They call for Anansi. Maybe the traveler. They call for Anansi. Or the troublemaker. They call for Anansi. Cautious of the web you weave, for it may you.
That switch up. How did we get here from there?
They call for Anansi.
I ain't stopping it yet.
They call for Anansi. 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 They call for Anansi.
Like, when you think about the fact that that's your outro.
That's a big old outro.
That's a whole song, fam. Like, that's your outro from the moment that you make your you know, the quote that you put in. The moment that you put that quote in and transition into this section, the whole energy changes, but we're in the same song.
Yeah. And so I remember partly why this happened as well. When I received the brass from both Jake and James, they both did me a solo.
Okay. You couldn't choose
which one I wanted, and so I decided that
you want both.
Yeah.
Why not?
And I was also aware that it needed to be able to sit in a
Yeah.
Or the trumpet sat better where it sat. Where it's this part here, the sax, the way it even came, you know, I think.
Yeah. It was a very strong entrance
earlier and everything, just because of that rising. I don't know what you call it. That moment there led to what was going on perfectly, and it's like, this is where it's got to sit. And then I'm listening and I'm hearing the only time I actually use a piano is in this section. Yeah, it's like this is where it has to become real dub and have more close to the culture sounds happening. And so, a lot of changes and stuff that are subtly important. Yeah,
I agree. And a big part of it as well is that I really enjoyed about this. The main thing, because obviously all of the instrumentation already makes it dub.
Yeah.
But the thing that obviously it's only basic because it was just delays and effects that I did with the vocals and chopping it and making it repeat a certain way, just to kind of take the song that you just heard and bring it into the dub world. So those Call For Anansi's, Call For Anansi, I had to bring that over. I'm like, it has to be like that. Do you know what I mean? And it has to be in that dub environment too. So that was a really important bridging of the two. And I feel like at the end, when we listen to the song, I feel like we from both perspectives, everything I put in, everything you put in, it's a good song, fam.
It's a good
song.
It is
a very good song, man. And I'm looking forward to
shout out as well.
Say that again, sorry.
I want to drop another shout out to Culture.
Go ahead.
Because I feel like the song Rag Jazz, that is a blend of reggae and jazz once again.
Yeah.
And the Culture Dub Orchestra did a dub remix of it. And so
I mixed that, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
That would have planted the seed as to why this
Yeah.
to dub as well. So that's still due to be released. I think we need to rediscuss how we release it because I don't know where we last stood on that. But
yeah.
That as well. It's a vibe that I just knew had to exist more.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, man. So I think we've been speaking a long time. We've covered a lot. I think we should end it here today because obviously, whether it be, our next sit down, I think Zombie Formula should be out by then, innit?
Yeah.
So I think our next sit down will be Zombie Formula, innit?
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I think we've covered enough on this. And again, I'm really grateful to have been a part of this song. And yeah, is there anything that you want to add, like socials, or do you want me to just put your socials and that in the bottom of the video and them things there?
Write it down because me explaining it makes people more confused.
Cool. Oh yeah, with your underscores and your no underscores.
Nah, it's like Wanderer with an O.
Oh yeah, cool.
Doing it like this, yeah.
Cool. All right, well, let's end the video here, fam. It was a pleasure having you in and starting this process that we're doing now.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, I think we should be able to do well with this and just give people insight to just how our minds work musically and the new music that you've got coming out or music that you've previously released. So yeah. To everybody out there, thanks for watching and see you next time.